You wanna know a genre of film that I feel like is so underappreciated in places outside of Asia nowadays? That's right, Hong Kong comedy action films. When you say Hong Kong comedy action films, the first typical thing that will come to people's minds is of course Jackie Chan. Obviously the reason being is for his huge part in the Rush Hour franchise. Which hey, talking about that franchise, if you absolutely adored its comedy, goofiness and action, then diving deep into Hong Kong's cinema catalog is a no-brainer option. Let's start by introducing what type of Hong Kong films or cinema I'm talking about. The films that I've been babbling on about are, as you guessed, from the golden age of Hong Kong cinema, which was around the 80s until the early 2000s, with its peak being in the 90s where it was the second largest exporter of films in the world. I know what you're thinking. You just said that it's underappreciated, but what you're saying makes it sound very recognizable and appreciated. But that was back then. I'm talking about the present. I've only seen a small minority outside of Asia truly appreciating and shining a light on Hong Kong cinema, specifically on the action comedy genre. Let's begin with talking about the beauty of the action in these films. The fighting, the choreography, the stunts and things of that nature. The style of fighting in these films are definitely unique and different from others. It's like they invented this style that ended up setting the stage for action scenes in other Asian films, and you could even say worldwide. I'm talking moves that are so extra, sound effects that are so over exaggerated. It's just a cinematic vibe. And that creates a mix of comedy, goofiness and those oh damn moments because these guys just go all out with their martial arts wizardry, I guess. My personal favorite fighting scene is from the final mall fight in Police Story. Like man, how can you not love this? It's so goofy and fun bro. I love it. Like man, you wouldn't find anything like this in Western movies. It's genuinely a vibe. Mindless fun. Although I did just recently watch Bullet Train and I can see a bit of similarities between the fight scenes in there and Hong Kong's because of its addition of comedy in the combat situations. But it doesn't have all that crazy moves and creativity that Hong Kong movies typically have with the combat. Oh yeah, that's right. I've been searching for that word, creativity. The creativity of the coordinated stunts, the creativity of utilizing the set design, and the creativity behind the martial arts itself. The action in these films definitely holds a special place in my heart. The comedy in these films, with mostly you'll find from Jackie Chan, Ng Man Tat and Stephen Chow, consist a lot of out-of-pocket jokes for real. It's truly fascinating how seamlessly they weave humor into intense action sequences. You're caught off guard, and in the midst of heart-pounding fights, a well-timed joke lands and it just breaks the tension and leaves you laughing. It's insane how well the humor suits most viewers of these films. The jokes aren't corny at all. It's the type of jokes that you would actually make in real life with your friends and absolutely laugh at. Let me show an example.
各位大佬啊，每人有3支啊，千祈唔好爭食啊！
你老豆啲神位啊？
我想啊，有咁多老豆，我仲使做咩？啊，呢啲冚唪唥我以前啲拍檔嚟噶。啊，有面食有面食。
要食自己煮啊？
唔係啊嘛，食自己
都仲得？
食自己犯法嘅喎。
你話有幾多個拍檔啊
9個，
有10個神子牌，
咁梗係要遇多1個半個咁。咁咪梗係要遇多1個半個，咁睇下邊個唔好彩黐埋我樹咯喎，咁啊有用又好，冇用又好，咁以備不時之需，你唔介意嘛？
咩介唔介意啊？你講咩啊？
唔明啊？唔明都好啲，唔明都好啲。唉，英年早逝真係知。唉，嗱，你食麵，我出街食飯。 唉，記得做功課啊！聽朝仲要翻學㗎。
頂你個肺！
唔好頂，唔好頂。喂，唔使咁唔開心喎。
都唔知幾過癮。
喂，你幾時生日㗎
10月22，想開 P 啊？
唔係，喂，我係正月初4嘅。嗱，你記住啊，我全名叫曹達華。
擺酒啊？
唔係，呢鑊唔係你啊，梗係我㗎啦，梗留翻鬼處寫神豬牌至得㗎。
唔該講清楚啲好嘛？
軍火啊嘛，大飛揮軍火啊，擺邊度我早都收到風啦。
咁點解你唔早講？
驚啊嘛，大佬。
唔好叫我大佬，叫我阿 Sir。Attention！
Yes sir，
知情不報有咩效果？你知唔知？
Yes sir，
明知點解仲要煩？
怕死 Sir。
我都係。
嗱，
但身為皇家香港警察，死都要頂硬上。
sorry Sir，
你咁做係咪想成世做卧底？
係。
咩話？
咁過癮啊嘛。我而家咪攬埋支炮陪你死咯。
立正望住我。嘴你！冚家產。
You see what I mean now? It's some good comedy. The way that the characters convey such good and well-hitting humor makes us the viewer have that feeling of relatability, and that builds a really strong connection between us and the character. And obviously that makes us really invested in the story. Take Stephen Chow and Man Tat, undoubtedly the most iconic comedic duo of the industry, even in Asia you could say. In the movie Fight Back to School, where they play as undercover police in a school, Stephen Chow as a student and Man Tat as a cleaner, the chemistry between both of these actors becomes a vital ingredient throughout the whole film to turn ordinary scenes into literal comedic gold. And this type of friendship duo that these characters share can resonate with a lot of people. But if it doesn't, that same friendship duo will become likable regardless. I really suggest you get deep into watching some Stephen Chow and Man Tat movies. They are really something else. All in all, the comedy isn't just a side dish, it's an integral part of this cinematic feast. It adds layers to the storytelling, making the characters relatable and the viewing experience incredibly enjoyable. When you talk about Hong Kong movie cinematography, the name that usually comes up is Wong Kar-wai. His movies all have a very distinctive look. If I had to recommend his movies, I would say watch Fallen Angels and Chungking Express. Personally though, I like Chungking Express more. But we're not here for those kind of films. We're here for the funny. And the funny films don't excel at the cinematography because it's not what they're trying to focus on anyway. The cinematography is nothing special, but I like the way these movies were filmed. I'd say that. I think the set design is usually what shines here. Like the sets aren't boring and are quite recognizable honestly. You gotta watch the movies first to understand what I'm talking about. Last but definitely not the least, the plot. Now, with these type of movies, the plot is nothing too special. It usually goes like this. The story starts, the main character experiences a little uprise, then a downfall, then the epic comeback where the climax is, and then the ending. It's good for what it's trying to be, but not anything worth noting. So yeah, the plot and the writing in these films aren't unique or special, but it's good for what it is. But I like to think that that's what makes it so fun to watch. What makes the movies good aren't the plot or the writing, but the dialogue, the comedy, and the action in it. It's not a movie that leaves you needing to watch it for the second time to maybe understand the plot properly, but it is a movie that leaves you wanting to watch it for the second, third, and fourth time, and so on. I guarantee you won't even mind that the plot's basic because you'll be having fun watching it regardless. Usually, what's exciting most about these movies are the premise of it. When you read the premise of these movies, you don't think about, how or where it could end up, as in, where they could take the story and make it great. You don't think about the plot twists, the plot holes, and, things like that. But you think about how many jokes and comedy potential can contain within the story, within the premise of the story. You think about, can they pull off a cinematic comedy gold with this premise of the story? It's very sad that this era of cinema has ended a long time ago, and we may never see anything like it ever again, though we got a whole load of films to choose from in the catalog. They produce so much, bro. So yeah, it's gonna be a long while until you run out of films to watch. Hong Kong action comedy films are the type of films that are best watched with people around on TV. Honestly, it's even great to watch alone on something else, like not a TV, but as I said, I'd heavily recommend you watch on TV with your friends or family. It's fun, it genuinely is to indulge and watch these films. It's just a good time, man. Seriously, I wished I could watch most of these films that I've seen for the first time again. The joy of watching it for the first time is genuinely priceless. Honestly, I think I have nothing more to say. Maybe just don't go into these movies expecting the utmost brilliant plots, stories, and mysteries that will require you watching a bunch of YouTube videos and going on Reddit to debunk or discuss the stories. Go into these films expecting great jokes, dialogue, acting, action, and most important of all, a good ass time. My recommendations if you want to start watching are Robbie Hood, Fight Back to School 1 and 2, The Third Sucks, Police Story, God of Gamblers, and Kung Fu Hustle. I mean, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching.